Hey, Dennis O'Brien back on Let's Talk About It. Happy to be here. The only sad thing is Susan Johnson is not here to join me. But I do have a large crowd of people who are involved in Third Thursday, which is coming up real soon, May 16th. Thursday, I think the weather's going to be great, although we can't tell yet. Although I think Wayne promised you good weather. When you were on, Chelsea Cherrier, okay, you were on Wayne's show, and he did talk about the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And he said he was going to try to help you.
He did.
He usually does.
We're going to blame it on him if it rains.
Okay. All right, so I'm having a... All right. Okay, we've got Chris...
Beaudry is the
Chris Beaudry and...
I'm Erin Elizabeth Morelle. Hi.
Okay, that's what you want to be called. Erin Elizabeth Morelle. You had 4 names, actually, but Erin Elizabeth Morelle is here. I think the only person who's been on the show before is Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea appeared with us once when she was... Well, she's still at Click.
I am,
right?
Yeah. Thanks for having me
Okay,
again.
so it's great to have you on the show. We're here to make sure everybody knows that Third Thursday is going to start in May 16th, and it runs for another 4 months after that, correct?
It's May until September.
Yeah, I think it's 5. 5 sessions, and it's gotten, it's 21 years old now.
It is. It's our birthday.
Fantastic.
And we have a banner to display. Happy birthday. We're 21.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I think it's smart.
Thanks.
I think it's smart. I think you can't go wrong with getting lots of publicity. And speaking of publicity, Matt, I just realized that this show has been on WILI now, the premier evening show for 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Since
That's awesome.
1998. The way it started was Colin Rice called me up and asked me to host it with Alan Giordano because he wanted one liberal and one arch conservative. And I couldn't do it because I was running for office at the time for judge of probate. So Susan stepped in and took it with him, and they had some enormous fights on the air. People loved it.
I bet.
I don't like that kind of stuff. It's too much, but some people do. Anyway, the Third Thursday is starting, and May 16th. That's not next week. It's the week after.
It is.
Yes.
13 days to be exact.
Okay, and Chelsea, you are in charge of food
I am. I'm the
in general.
Yes, I'm the food vendor coordinator,
Yeah.
and I'm also the volunteer coordinator.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and so lots of great food this year. We have 19 food and beverage vendors, I believe, and lots of different types of food: Mexican, Puerto Rican, Middle Eastern, Indian, vegan, sweet stuff, pizza, burgers. So come hungry.
Well, when you were on Wayne Norman's show on May 1st, which is a couple days ago, you said that you had the best hamburgers in town.
Yes, they
I
were
wanna
voted
know
best
where they're
burgers
from. Where
in
are they
town.
from?
Red Lion Burger. They're a food truck.
Oh, okay. I think I've
Yes.
heard of them.
Yeah.
I
They
don't
were-
think I've ever indulged, but I do like burgers.
Yeah, they've been called the best burger in town.
I started feeling, I love animals, and I started feeling really guilty about eating burgers.
Oh.
And who I talked to and talked me into thinking that maybe it's okay? Bob Hackamack. You know him?
Yeah, I know
I'm
him well.
sure you do.
Bob.
Okay.
I love Bob.
Bob Hackamack says, yeah, Dennis, I feel the same way, but there's nothing like a good burger. Bob's probably going to not like that I said that on the air. I reveal a lot of secrets on the air. Anyway, so we're starting on May 16th, and you are in charge of food, and in conjunction with that, you're also in charge of following through on what Jean Dismay started a long time ago, and she actually started Third Thursday along with a guy named Tom McNally.
Okay.
I think 21 years ago. I think because I was around. I think we had them on the radio. And my memories are a little dim, but yeah, it was Tom McNally, I think, who went to some place out in California that had something similar.
Oh, cool.
And brought it back, and Jean really ran with it.
Yes, she did.
And it's been, I don't think if anybody has it anywhere else in the country, I don't think it outdoes us here in Willimantic. I think we do it so good. It's fantastic, and I've been a volunteer for a lot of good causes, and I'll tell you, it's so impressive what you do.
Yeah.
So impressive.
It's completely run on volunteers. So We're always looking for more volunteers if anybody ever wants to volunteer.
Don't look at me. I'm busy with a lot of other good causes, and that's what I actually sometimes miss the show, right? And Susan will say, Dennis is out in the community working on a good cause.
Awesome.
And sometimes she's telling the truth. Okay, Chris Beaudry, you have not been on the show before. I never met you before.
No, sir.
Never even heard of you.
Ah.
But I did look you up on Facebook, so I recognized you when you came in the door. Anyway, you are in charge of setting up the music.
That's right.
That's got to be a big job.
There's a great team behind Third Thursday, and they've done quite a lot of legwork, actually, prior to me coming on the team. I think it was a little unexpected that the last entertainment coordinator left, but there were some things in place, so I'm kind of just learning the job as I go, so to speak. But
Sure.
Small team, but a mighty team, and these guys are like really, really hard workers. So everything that you've said, the accolades of this Third Thursday Street Fest are true, and it takes not a village, but like a tight knit team that Gene Dismay has organized here, and yeah, I'm proud to be a part of it. Just getting my feet wet here, but I think we're already ready to go. We have quite a few wonderful acts we can talk about for the May, and then I'm in the process of booking the rest of the month, but looking forward to it. Yeah.
So Gene is still active, I assume.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like me with the Democratic Party. I'm behind the scenes, but I'm still pretty active. In fact, some people call me the puppet master. It's not true. Maybe Gene is the puppet master. I don't know. Maybe not. You're running it now, right?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. You're the official.
Puppet master.
You're the puppet master.
No, I am. So it's interesting. I feel like it's been since I started in 2016 volunteering. We talked about this on Wayne's show, but
You did. I heard.
I did.
You came from Providence in 2016. And
I did.
And you said that after you left, Providence got more interesting.
Got cooler. Yeah.
Well, that was a coincidence.
So that's what you say. So I started off volunteering, and it was really wonderful being part of the community, and I loved working with Gene, and it was just, how can you not have fun working a street fest? It's a giant party, and it's for, your neighbors and friends, and it's very serious to us for our jobs, but it's really actually a super fun thing to do. So it's just kind of evolved from 2016 into now I'm the coordinator. So it's changed over the years, and we all kind of work into the roles that we need to. So if I can't do something, Chelsea takes over a part of it, and we do really work well as a team. So I'm thankful.
You were the coordinator last year, right?
It was.
And the year before?
Yep. So too.
This is your third year?
So my responsibility started shifting after maybe 2018 to coordinator. So, and then we had COVID, which then we canceled the fest. Yeah. So, but I did plan an entire fest one year, and then we canceled it. So
it's got to be a lot of work, and I know it. You mentioned on the radio with Wayne that it costs about $60,000 to do it for the whole summer for 5 sessions.
It does.
That sounds cheap, considering all that you do.
Yeah, because it's run on all volunteers.
Well,
Helps.
That's why it's cheap. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, but you do pay some people.
Yes.
Okay, so the musicians get paid, right?
Yes.
Then our
Okay.
street performers get paid, and who else gets paid? Oh, we pay for licensing and a variety of other things, but without the support of the community and friends and sponsors in the town, it would be a lot more difficult for us to afford, of course.
I think it's just amazing that you can do it all for $60,000, even with the volunteers, because it is amazing. It's an amazing event. The crowds are huge. There's so much to do and to, and partake of the food, everything. It's just incredible. So when Wayne asked you when you started, and I think Chelsea said on the radio that you really get going right after the Chocolate Fest.
We do.
Yeah.
So, we start planning actually after the end of the last fest. We take a little break because it's intense in September, but there's a lot to lead up to, like recruiting all of the vendors to come back and figuring out the entertainment schedules and what we're planning to do for the following year. It's a little bit more casual, and then it's high gear after Chocolate Fest in the beginning of February.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me think, when you talked about it with Wayno, it made me think of the Rose Bowl parade, how they finish one and they start working on the next one right after they finish. I'm sure that, accumulates and gets more intense as the year goes on. But having been involved in a lot of volunteer organizations, including the Democratic Party, I can tell you that it is a lot of work, and you have to spend a lot of time on it. And it's not, you really have to have really good leaders, and you are, I would say, the leaders, with Erin being the what is it, the capo, the tutti capo.
I am Italian too. We work. I feel like it's lateral for all of us. I don't feel like I coordinate the coordinators. We work just well together. I have different functions than everybody else has, and when we all don't know what to do, we do turn to Jean still. So
Yes.
Yeah, I've been a leader in many organizations, and it's not like the leader does everything. It's not like of course, when something doesn't get done, the leader has to do it, right? I mean, I've done that. And I won't go into all the things I've done to get things done in the groups I've been in, but it is, you have to have leadership.
right,
It doesn't work if you can't just, or else everybody's running around.
right, of course. In general, I never particularly cared for group work. At least in school, it was awful. It made me sad. I like doing independent work, and this is probably the first time in my actual career that I really enjoy working as a team. It's amazing.
Yeah,
So-
it's a great learning experience. I mean, just like anything else you do that takes you out of your comfort zone. And I've always kind of liked. I'm a control freak. Okay, so I always like to be in control. Not to the point where some people do, but I do like if I'm not willing. In fact, my boss when I worked in legal aid said, you have to be more willing to let other people screw up. And I said, gee, that's hard.
You can't do it.
If you see it happening, it's very hard. Let's talk about the music,
Sure.
Chris. So you are a musician, right?
I am. I play tenor saxophone.
Oh, you're a jazz musician.
That's right. Yes, sir.
He said that like it was bad. Just kidding.
Well, no, I think the saxophone is an incredible instrument. There's four different types of saxes, right? I am not a musician. I couldn't play a note, but I do like music a lot. And I went through, like I say, I'm 80 years old. I went through all kinds of phases where I would focus on one type of music. And I did have a jazz period for about 10 years when I listened to an awful lot of jazz.
What period in time was that?
I'd say about 30 years ago.
All right.
And, I get into Coltrane, and I could name a whole bunch of people, and
Sure.
I've forgotten a lot of names too, but I really got into jazz. I got into classical music just before jazz, and I realized that modern classical is very jazzy. And you go, you start out with Baroque or even ancient, and you go, it was a lot of fun following it through history. And then I ended up getting into jazz. But right now I'm into Dylan. I listen to nothing but Dylan. I can listen to Dylan. In fact, I told Matt I want to do a show on this station, all Dylan all the time. Because this radio station does not play a lot of Bob Dylan. He has not played very much on the AM stations for sure.
Yeah.
And John Tewitt, I manipulate John Tewitt on his show, The Vinyl Frontier, into doing a Dylan song whenever I can. But most of the time, people on AM stations will play, they'll play Mr. Tambourine Man and Lay Lady Lay, and maybe like a Rolling Stone, but it's a little long for AM. But I'm fascinated by lyrics. I like poetry. And Dylan did get the Nobel Prize for poetry, and it's for good cause. But I like all kinds of music, and I'm looking forward to Matt's show that he's going to be doing.
Yeah,
and I understand.
Yeah, so am I.
I understand, Chris. He's going to be recruiting you as a guest, which makes sense.
All right, let's do it, Matt. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
So you must have a lot of connections in the musical world of this area.
I do, and I just wanted to say to your point of being into all kinds of music over the years and in your own personal life.
Yeah.
Street Fest is perfect for you because there's something for everybody And I really hope that people who may go, liking certain musics, try to go out on a limb and experience some of the other musics at the Street Fest. We do have jazz, we have rock, we have blues, we have Hispanic music, danceable, singable, sing-alongable. I know Bruce John is coming back with his Dinosaurs After Dark band, abbreviated DAD, the Dad Band. Patty Tuitt, and so...
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know
They've
them
been
very
around
well.
a little bit, yeah.
Good friends.
They've been around. Yep.
But I could
great.
if I can riddle off from memory what we got La Choco band. They're out of Springfield, Mass. They're going to be a Hispanic band that actually Shalmara Capo is her name. She's the executive administrative assistant at the town hall. She's helped us.
Samara Capo, yeah.
Yeah.
She used to be Bruder.
Bruder, right. Now she's Capo. Yeah. But she's been a big help in securing that band. Really lively band. I just found them on YouTube today, and
cool.
They look extremely danceable, a party band. They're going to be on the downtown stage, which is actually right
out here.
Right out here, right out in front of WILI, so it'll be perfect.
Downtown.
And then so they're going to be playing the whole duration of the Street Fest, 6 to 9. And then if we move up to Midtown stage, which is AKA the Beer Garden, that's where Bruce is going to open from 6 to 7:15. We're going to do a little turnover, and I think there's going to be some exciting announcements during the turnover as well.
We're going to try. Yeah.
Try to be there for the whole thing when you're getting your beer at the Beer Garden. But closing out, Patty will be there from 7:45-ish until 9 o'clock when the Street Fest ends. And I think there's going to be some interchanging of musicians between those two bands. As you know, Patty's played with Bruce, and Bruce played with Patty. So, I mean, that's the community of music around here. So, moving up, there's going to be a stage in front of Eminence Inc. And I know Sarah Mallory, the principal at ACT, has a student group going in there.
Oh, that's great.
Around 6:15. So they're going to be doing a performance, but they're also going to be handing out, literature about the ACT program. And then there's a great band that I actually discovered at Corleone's Open Microphone right over here on Union Street a couple Thursdays ago. They're called Madison Blues, and they're a lead vocalist, a guitarist, and a trumpet player. So kind of jazzy, bluesy, R&B. Really excited about that group. But there's going to be more... lest I forget, Ghost Notes Drumline is going to be here again. I think they've played how many times over the years?
They did a few sessions last year, and it was amazing. People were following them up the street like they were herding cats. It was great. Yeah, they were super fun. They're going to be doing 2 sessions, the May one and I believe August for them.
And
they're really exciting.
They just start somewhere and then they just go back.
They start
and forth
somewhere and then they just go. So that's really fun. And then on Bank Street, we're going to have the Wyndham High School band is going to be there also. I'm trying to time it in between the Midtown stage breaks. So, but they'll be in between 2 buildings so they can project. And that should be really great. We're excited to have them.
That's got to be really hard to cover. What do you got? 4 stages going now, or is it 5?
When we do Way Uptown,
you're
there's
going to go Way
be,
Uptown in June.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Up to the High Street.
Yep. Right in front of Willie Brew, there's going to be another stage.
Okay, you're going to finish at Walnut Street this time, first time. Do you find in the past, Erin, that the crowds for the May third Thursday are less than that builds as the summer goes on, or?
I do feel like it builds.
Depends on the weather, though.
Right. It depends on the weather. If it's too hot, sometimes that's difficult.
Yeah.
If it's a little rainy, foggy, sometimes that's a little difficult. But I feel like May, at least this year and last year, we've been a little bit more condensed, haven't gone way uptown. So if we end at Walnut, where Eminence is, it's a lot of vendors in a smaller space. So we have just 3 blocks, and it seems very, very, very lively because there's a lot of people in just that area. Once we do expand to Way Uptown, it's a little bit more spread out, but it's still a ton of people. If you think we have like 100 vendors right now for the May Fest alone, plus all of the Main Street merchants are open, and then in June plus to September, we get all of that area plus more vendors. It's a lot. But
it is a lot.
It's a lot of people. Last year we were told that the parking area was sold out. We don't charge for it. It was just full. So the parking area was totally full, and it was probably the biggest that I've ever seen, but most people have said it was the biggest that they've ever seen. So we had over 120 vendors.
Didn't you say there was like 8,000
we had a lot.
People at the camp?
We're going to try to count this year. So we'll see how that goes.
Just eyeball it.
I know, maybe we can fly a drone and just count everybody.
Right. Whenever I done an event politically, I always eyeball it, and my count is probably a little high. But
That's all
but
right.
anyway, but it's, hey, Third Thursday draws. I think, the Boombox Parade is another great event
That's
in
super
town,
fun,
but that's
too.
only once a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's only once a year. I'm always in that. I actually carry the WILI banner right in front of Wayne, and Wayne rides in it. Wayne is the Grand Marshal every year. He has been for as long as we've had it, 35 years.
I'm always
So-
too far back. I never noticed.
Oh yeah. I'm always up front, and I have to recruit people to carry the banner with me, and I don't know if I can continue to do that, but I'm going to try. Anyway, when people talk of the third Thursday in the same breath as talking about the parade and other great events in this town, this is as you mentioned on Wayne's show, this is a fabulous town. People, there's all kinds of volunteers doing all kinds of great stuff, and because it's not a wealthy town, and that's one of the reasons why I love it here. I wasn't born and raised here either. I mean, you're from Mansfield originally?
I am.
And you too?
Mansfield.
Wow. Both E.O. Smith?
E.O. Smith
Yeah.
High
Oh,
School.
wow. E.O. You steal a lot of kids from Wyndham. A lot of kids from Wyndham go to E.O. They enrolled in the Aggie program.
Ag department,
Yeah, and I go, well, one of the reasons why we're renovating our high school, and we're doing a big renovation on the high school, it should be done in 6 to 8 months, is I'd like to see some of those kids stay here, because I think if we have a pretty much new high school with lots of bells and whistles, some of them might, which is cool. But I was town attorney in Mansfield for 14 years, so I like Mansfield. They
good.
treated me real well. It was the second best job I ever had, next to my job as a judge, and it was fantastic. They were really good. It's a wonderful town. And you are from Providence?
I'm from technically Lincoln, but I lived in Providence, went to
Okay.
undergrad and graduate school in Providence.
I like Providence. My son went to Brown as a graduate student.
Yeah, the east side is amazing with the shopping and food,
Yeah.
and just it's safe and fun, and with RISD and Brown both being on that side of the river, it's definitely always a cool place to be.
Yep, definitely a cool place to be. Anyway, let's talk about the food.
Yeah.
You have now you were talking about 120 vendors. Does that include the food vendors? Mm-hmm. Okay, and so of the 120 vendors, how many of those vendors would you estimate are doing food?
We have 19 food and beverage vendors this year.
Okay.
And that might grow a little bit as we open up way uptown.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to go hungry, right? If they don't want to.
No, nobody's going to go hungry, and it's a great place to try new types of food, kind of like Chris was saying about new bands and trying new music out. There's a lot of opportunity to try different cultures, and the community is real represented in the food vendors. So you'll get to see what kind of food is in your community, too.
I've noticed that. I think it's wonderful, but I tell you, when I'm there on May 16th, the first thing I'm going to do is look for the Red Lion hamburger. 'Cause I do like Bob Hackenmack, I do like a good hamburger.
Yeah, well, you won't be let down.
I also want to go over to the pub or the beer pub, or they have wine too, right?
Yeah, they do.
You have to get a temporary license for that.
We do. We have it's a temporary non-commercial liquor permit for nonprofits. So, yeah.
It's a 1-year thing.
Well, we do. So they have a new, this isn't terribly interesting, but they have a new way of doing it this year. So it's one license that covers each fest.
Really?
Because we're in the exact same spot. It's the exact same time. It's all the same thing. So it's one license covering all of the dates.
Yeah, I would think so.
Which is great. Well, in the past it was...
In the past, you had to get a different license for
individual licenses, yep.
every session?
Yeah, which, I mean,
wow.
it's just a lot of typing for me, but
It is,
it's
yeah.
fine.
But you have to pay a fee too, right?
True.
Okay, we're gonna take a break now. I'm getting the word from our producer who is in charge. I like to fake it that I'm in charge, but I'm really not in charge. And Matt Rupar is telling me that it's time for our commercial break. So we'll be right back, folks, in about 4 or 5 minutes after we hear from our wonderful sponsors, especially the Gates Group, who has been sponsoring us for 25 years. I really appreciate that. And we'll be right back, and we'll be here with people from Third Thursday, talking about Third Thursday, May 16th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Seems like it lasts longer than that, though. Well, it does for you.
It does for us.
We'll talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back, folks. Okay, folks, it's Dennis O'Brien here without Susan Johnson. And that's too bad for me and too bad for our audience. But we have a great show tonight, great guests, great topic. Third Thursday, everybody loves it. Everybody gets to it sooner or later. And we have three folks from the Third Thursday group. There's probably, how many people, Erin, would you say are volunteer for Third Thursday?
That's more Chelsea's gig, but
Yeah.
All right, Chelsea, that's right. You're the volunteer
I
coordinator.
am the volunteer coordinator.
Okay, I asked the wrong question of
it's
Erin.
okay.
All good.
Erin's delegating. That's very good. That's good.
I could answer.
If
No.
you're going to be in charge, you got to delegate sometimes.
Yeah. We shoot for about 40 volunteers each fest.
Yeah.
We operate and make it run with a lot less than that sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually we have about 40 volunteers helping us on that night. And we're always looking for more. They're in the beer garden pouring beer, they're setting up, they're breaking down, they're helping in the info booth, and they're also helping on the Waste Not tents, which is our waste diversion, waste reduction program for Third Thursday as well. So always looking for more volunteers.
Okay, let's stay on volunteers. I want to talk about the Waste Not in a minute or so. But how many people do you have who are when you get together and meet and plan for the year? How many people are in the inner circle, sort of? Maybe that's the wrong term, but I don't
I feel
know.
like
what
you're
else.
looking at
You're
it.
looking at it minus Jean.
Yeah.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, we have a few more that have just joined us, so
Okay.
hopefully we don't scare them away.
Okay, so you're the decision makers. You are the ones that put in the time.
Correct.
And okay, so wow, that's a lot of responsibility.
Just added somebody that you know for the beer garden coordinator. I call him the liaison.
Oh, I know him.
Corey Crone.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was surprised to. I read that. I heard that.
Yep.
Fantastic, and you mentioned it on the Wayne Show.
Yeah. We're friends. He
Corey
wanted the
Crone, I
job.
know because I think I talked him into being on the building committee for the high school.
You did.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did, and I'm glad I did because he's very well qualified.
Yep.
And he's a hard worker and he's smart and they're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he's enjoying working with Michael Callahan.
I think that he actually is.
Mike Callahan is
Yeah.
a great leader, and
Mm-hmm.
he is also an engineer who worked for Fuss and O'Neill for a while, but before that had his own engineering firm. Close personal friend of mine. Many times he has told me that he would get me someday for getting him to volunteer for that job. It's just like what you're doing.
It's been a long process.
Oh, it's been a long process,
right.
yeah. But
Yeah.
Corey was, I think, originally a alternate. I think he may be a regular member now. I think he goes to all the meetings, though.
He is part of many things and now also officially titled and part of our group.
I was the chair of the selection committee for that group, and we had 8 applicants, including Corey, who applied at my request, and 22 people applied, and some of the 14 people who didn't get on are still angry and mad at me.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a thankless job to be the
you'd be mad at Corey
who
instead.
chose the. I swore I'd never do that again for anything, and I won't. But anyway, let's talk about what you were talking about before, Waste Not,
Yeah, so
Chelsea.
Wyndham Community Food Network, which is a local organization in Wyndham, they created the Waste Not tents in 2017 with Jean. Jean has been working on the sustainability of Third Thursday since its inception.
Jean is well known as an environmentalist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so Waste Not tents are places that the attendees can go and make sure they're putting their trash in the right place. We divert waste at Third Thursday, so we make sure the recycling goes in recycling, the compost goes in compost, and it doesn't end up in the landfill and goes to better places and gets reused or
Where
recycled.
does the compost go to?
The compost comes to Click. Yep, we have a small little compost bin at Click, and we compost with our food business members, and we take for some community events. But gosh, are we hoping that we get a compost facility closer by so that we can really make a bigger impact.
Now is the time to talk about Click. Now, you've been associated with Click for a while now.
I have almost 5 years.
5 years, okay. And you've worked with Phoebe.
I have. Mm-hmm.
And who is in charge over there now?
Our executive director is Lee Duffy.
Oh, yeah, I know Lee.
Yeah.
She's another Mansfield person. She big family from Mansfield, well known.
Yeah.
I think one of her sisters was an All-American soccer player, I believe, at UK. Pretty sure.
Nice. Yeah.
Anyway, and she's got a brother I know who does tree stump grinding, and he does it real cheap. Nice guy.
Will they come to my house? I have a lot of trees to.
You need stumps ground?
Oh my God, yes.
Well, Ashley Duffy.
I'm gonna text her as soon as I
Her
leave.
brother's an incredibly nice guy, and he's very reasonably priced, very reasonably.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, and see, you come on the show, and you not only teach me and you teach our audience, but you're learning from me too.
There
And
you
that's
go.
good. We're all learning from each other. That's why people need to interact more. So that sounds great, and that's been going on for. I think I had Gene on a TV show I was doing for a while on Charter when Charter was a lot more popular. It was a lot more. There were a lot more people subscribed to Charter and Spectrum when because Bruce John did a show too, but he left because he didn't think anybody was watching. So I still do it from time to time, but I had my own show that they produced for me, and I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to get the crew or anything. Just like here, when I got Matt Rupar doing it for me.
There you
Because
go.
I can't. You know what Wayne does behind the board? I can't do that. I'm just a talker. I'm not an electrician or electronics.
He has a lot going on back there when he's working.
Oh, he's amazing. He does.
His collage of notes is
Yeah,
very
yeah.
impressive.
Oh, he's great. He's fantastic. He's a great person to have as a friend. Let me tell you, he's been a good friend over the years. Anyway, so you have 19 or so, 20 or so food vendors.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a
And
lot.
actually, part of that Waste Not program, Click has gotten involved, and for our food business members, we purchase compostable products at bulk. So those clamshells, those plates, everything that the food vendors are serving their food on. And we really encourage Third Thursday food vendors to purchase the compostables. And so Click purchase them at bulk, so it makes them more affordable and kind of shows the community how to kind of use those products, and that compostable wares come back to Click and get composted as well.
I notice you will be selling new cups.
Yes, that's another part of the
at brew
initiative.
pub. Will they have something on it that says I got this at Third Thursday or something?
They sure will.
Oh,
It'll be
great! I love that.
a super awesome local souvenir, and yeah,
I
they're
love
stainless
t-shirts
steel.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it'll reduce our reliance on single-use plastic in the beer garden.
And how much is it going to cost?
$15 a cup, and yeah, it's got a great Third Thursday logo, and it'll probably last forever. Bring it camping.
For a cup like that will last me the rest of my life.
Yes.
For $15, what a great deal! That'll give me an incentive to live longer.
There you go.
Live out the life you're
Just like my 3 cats. We just got 3 new cats, and they're young. And I'm always joking with Bruce John about it, because I always say, well, I have 3 cats whose life expectancy is longer than mine. I said, no. Bruce says, I've got a parrot. And the parrot's got 50 more years to live. He says,
those live a really long time.
I said,
right?
well, Bruce, you got to incent us to keep going. So keep going, man.
Shout out to Eddie. That's the parrot's
Eddie, that's right. Eddie's cool.
Eddie the parrot.
Eddie's cool. You're right. So anyway, that cup is going to give me more incentive.
Yeah.
To continue on.
Yeah, and you can fill a glass of
I
wine
can-
there and enjoy it
no.
in the beer garden.
No, not me. No. I might put coffee in it. You can put anything in it.
You
in
can.
a cup like that.
Sure can.
Okay, cool. All right. So of the 120 vendors, then, if 20 of them are doing food, what else do you have?
Nothing.
Come on.
The rest is really, we try to balance it out. We split
People
it up.
selling stuff.
Yep, people selling things, but it's
Yeah.
also the amount of crafters, farmers, and artisans. We try to encourage that more than
Farmers,
other
great.
things. Yes,
Yeah,
and
local farmers.
local farmers. Last year we had 3 or 4. They did a variety of different things, so it was great having them because they were diversified. And then we do a lot of different crafters and artists in Midtown, right near the Midtown stage. It's the shopping block, and all the way from clay-made things and candles, soaps, all sorts of things that people make. We have somebody that distributes coffee that they produce,
Sure.
and it's a bunch of different fun things.
All kinds
so.
of goodies.
Yeah, and then we have a lot of nonprofits that also go, and the ways to support them is basically visiting them and to try to get information
Yeah.
about them, and tons of children's activities. So we try to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I think I've spent more time at Third Thursday sitting in a booth for the Democratic Party. I've done that, and I think I don't know if they've got one now, but I will. They do.
They did last year.
Yeah, okay. If we don't, we'll make sure we get one.
Right now,
if
the
you have
Green
space.
Party is beating you. They're the ones that are signed up. So.
Don't go there.
Doug has signed up.
We're not going to talk about that. That is okay. That is taboo. Unless you want to. No. You don't want to lock horns with me on that stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, I'm not supporting Jill Stein for president. Anyway. Okay, so there's all kinds of and you charge a fee for space?
So it depends.
Depends on
what they do. If you
location,
can
maybe?
produce things. So it's not really location. It's more like if you the size of space you need. So
Yeah.
we're technically like 10 by 10 space. The frogs are
Yeah.
the frog numbers are 10 by 10 spaces. So
Yeah,
if you
we've
need
done
two, obviously it's double.
Yeah.
We charge less if you're a local
It's not much, I
crafter
know
or
that.
and then it just goes up from local crafter to a small business and then a larger business.
Okay.
So, and then some people that do children's activities, we only approve a few a season to waive the fee.
Yeah.
Because they do interactive activities and they provide all of the supplies and amusement, so we waive the fee for them.
That's wonderful. Children are I was a judge in the children's court. I love children. I coach children. I think if I wasn't a lawyer, I'd be a teacher. I mean, it's just so important. And why don't you talk a little bit, Erin, about what you're doing with children? You've got some children activities.
We do.
For May 16th, anyway.
We do. So they rotate throughout the season, but for May, right now what we have is Access Agency, which is going to be right in the middle of downtown and midtown. They have two spots. So they do a mobile food pantry, and they're going to be doing a photo booth and games and with prizes for kids. We have a bounce house that's going to be up near the children's area, which everybody loves, and except for me. But
yeah, me too. I don't love them either.
I don't really like.
I wouldn't do that. No way. I wouldn't do that if I was a lot younger.
But kids really like it.
And they
it's
do.
super
I know.
fun. The last time we had one, it was really popular.
For parties.
Yeah. So
what are we doing? Where do we have a bounce house?
So there's like active things to do and educational things to do. So and we have cornhole that's right near the bounce house.
Yeah.
We're gonna have magicians.
We still had beanbag back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't really like calling it cornhole, but that's okay.
You like that?
No, I mean.
You like that? Okay, I'm not going to go any farther with that.
Last year, when it was too close to somebody's tent, the kids were throwing the beanbags and they were landing on top of the tent. So this year, I'm going to plan cornhole a little bit differently. But we have the Natural History Museum is coming, and they're going to be doing like archaeology, and the Train Museum is coming.
Oh, great!
The Mill Museum.
Yep.
So everybody's doing. And Bev York does her.
Sure.
She's going to be doing acting and representing multiple things because she wears 9 different hats.
Yeah,
so,
she's amazing.
Right, she's amazing. So there's a ton of children's activities to do. We have at least 12 right now that are distinctly children's activities, plus like fun things for kids to do, like run around and have fun.
Yeah, you've had dance troupes come in too.
We do.
I know. I think my granddaughters have danced at the third Thursday.
We have Thread City dances coming. I'm not positive they're dancing in May, but they do dance points during the summer.
Yeah.
And then ACT, as Chris mentioned, is going to be dancing.
Oh, that's great.
And then we have Waldo is coming from Natchog School. He does stilting. 2 years ago, he did the Blue Dot Parade that was really popular. Kids in costumes, like on Main Street, and they do dancing. So he might have a booth and dance also. So there's opportunities to dance and also watch dancing.
So Chris, how did you end up being recruited, or how did you end up doing this?
Yeah. Let me get into that in 10 seconds, just because I want to really shout out to our social medias.
Sure.
We're trying to bolster everything. So everything that Erin and Chelsea have been talking about, hopefully will be posted. There is a post that went up a few days ago on our Facebook page. And if you want to find that, it's Willimantic's Third Thursday Street Festival. That's the name of the page. Just go to Facebook. And we just launched an Instagram. It's at Willimantic Street Festival. And over the years, it just happens with a lot of organizations that I've been a part, but some other accounts may be out there, so there may be inactive accounts in the internets, but Willimantic Street Festival is the Instagram, and then Willimantic's Third Thursday Street Fest is the Facebook. But there's a post, and I wanted to kind of just point this out, but it says, who's ready for some food, music, local vendors, artists, entertainers, crafts, local businesses, and more. And then we have kind of a rolling master list of everybody that's appearing. And it's going to be very dynamic and active, and it's going to be expanded. So if you don't see somebody that you thought was coming, keep checking back, because it will eventually be there. And then the day of, we're going to have the brochures, the trifold brochures, that everybody can have kind of a map of the street.
Yep.
And
those.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, so start working up that appetite, because the food is listed at the top. I made sure to do that. But then all the organizations that Erin was alluding to, they're on there too. So to answer your question, sorry about that, Dennis.
That's okay. That's important. I should have asked you that.
Yeah. So
You're doing my job for me.
yeah, I've been kind of on the scene here. I've lived in New York, I've lived in Boston, but I'm from Mansfield,
Yeah.
and I'm tied to,
back.
I came up in the Mansfield school systems.
Yeah.
My cousin, Kay Namasic, who's actually the director of the Wyndham Concert Band, she was my initial inspiration for getting into music, from a musical family. But I've played, in all the local bands. I've, sat in with Bruce's band. I just sat in with Patty's at the Packing House in Willington. Jason Altieri, I play in the Kingpins Blues Band currently. I've been on and off with them for the past 14, 15 years. So I'm tied, to the community. I ran an open mic at Corleone's Cafe for a few years back in 2012.
There's no Bruce Bellum then. From Mansfield originally. He lives in Lebanon.
Not well, but yeah, I know of him. Yeah,
He goes to Corleone's.
yeah. But yeah, so I'm just happy to actually be in a congealing role of all my experiences and all the people and network that have been a part.
I once sang a duet with Jason Altieri on the radio. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Is it archived?
Guitar. Huh?
We're gonna have to find the archive, yeah.
It's
somewhere.
I'll ask
somewhere.
Jason. Yeah.
It's lost in space, I guess. Anyway, it's great to have had you on the show. We want to remind everybody that Third Thursday begins this year on Thursday, of course, May 16th, from 6 to 9 p.m. downtown Willimantic, and these good folks will be there, and a lot of other folks will be there. And as you pointed out on the Wayne Show, it's a great place to meet people, to see people that you haven't seen in years, and that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. Fantastic. I'll be there, and Susan will be there, and we'll all have a wonderful time. I hope the weather's great, and it's great to have you folks on the show, and Viva Third Thursday. So thanks for being on the show, and hopefully we'll have somebody back next week to remind people. I'm going to do a short segment.
We are going to come back.
Okay, somebody will come back next week for
next week.
a few minutes before the show, before our regular guest goes on, and you can talk about Third Thursday and remind people. This is Dennis O'Brien. I'll be back next week with Susan Johnson and the Third Thursday folks and another great guest. Thank you.